Welcome Algebra 1 students to another Regents review video. This is the Algebra 1 Common Core August 2016 administration of this Regents exam. So, these are going to be the solutions to part 1, questions 1 through 12 of this examination. Before we begin here, please, if you are here to copy my answers, don't cheat. Don't cheat. You have to try the problems on your own, or you won't do so hot on this examination. So, try your best, and then if you need help, then come find me. I'm always here. And if you're here to check your answers, welcome. Hit that subscribe button down below, and make sure that you visit my website at www.nysmathregentsprep.com, and I use the TI Inspire calculator. I don't know where my thing went, but I use a TI Inspire calculator. So, without further ado, here we go. All right, question 1 says, the graph below shows the distance in miles, m, hiked from a camp in h hours. Okay. Which hourly interval has the greatest rate of change? Ladies and gentlemen, greatest rate of change means the steepest slope. You're trying to find the steepest slope because rate of change actually means slope, and the greatest is the highest value, but the highest value for slope produces the steepest slope. So we're looking at all of these intervals. And it appears to me that from the interval of 0 to 1, that looks the highest, because if I continue to increase on this graph, it looks like I'm leveling off, does it not? That was a bad color. But it looks like it's leveling off here. So the steepest slope is right here. This is your steepest slope. So your answer is going to be choice 1, from the 0 hour to the first hour. That is the correct interval that has the steepest slope. All right, moving on. Number 2. The solution to an equation with two values, x and y, is what? So if it has two variables, x and y, and you're trying to find the solution to an equation, you have to be thinking of an ordered pair. Because an ordered pair is what satisfies a system of equations. This is describing a system of equations. Okay, so if we're trying to find the x and y values, well, that's the solution to those particular functions. Let's take a look. Number 1 says the set of all x values that make y equals 0. No, that makes no sense. The set of all y values that makes x equals 0. No, that makes no sense either. These are not describing a proper systems of equations. The set of all ordered pairs x and y that make the equation true. Yeah, absolutely, because that is a system of equations, and that is your coordinate x comma y. Choice 4 is saying the set of all ordered pairs x and y where the graph of the equation crosses the y-axis. That makes no sense. The y-axis? No, that would be your y-intercept, I guess. That would be describing that. All right, number 3. Which statistic cannot be determined from a box plot representing the scores on a math test in Mrs. D. Ritter's algebra class? So you need to know what a box plot is. And a box plot looks something like this. It's just a straight line with a box somewhere in the middle of this line. Maybe about there, I guess. And there are just some values on the box plot that you need to know. So this point right over here, that is known as your minimum value or your minimum point. The first line that you see in the box is called your quartile 1. Your first quartile. This line that you see right over here in the middle of this box, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the middle, but I just decided to put it there. This is known as the median, or the quartile 2, or the second quartile. The line that you see over here, this is known as your quartile 3, and this point over here, this is your maximum value. So it's saying which statistic cannot be determined from the box plot. Let's take a look at 1. It says the lowest score. No, that's your minimum point. Your minimum value. The median. No, that's definitely shown. That's your quartile 2, which is right there in the middle. Your highest score. No, that's your maximum. That's definitely on this. So choices 1, 2, and 3 are out. Your answer is choice 4. The score that occurs the most frequently. Well, you need to know what that is. That is called your mode. The mode is the number that occurs the most frequently, and that is clearly not shown on a box plot. A mode is determined by the analysis of data. So if you have a set of data, you could easily pinpoint which number appears the most often. That's what a mode is. All right, number 4. Which chart would represent the function f of x is equal to negative 2x plus 6? So let's talk about this function for a second. It has a slope of negative 2, and it has a y-intercept of 0, 6. That's the y-intercept point. So if you're looking at the x value where it's 0, let's determine where the y value is. It has to be 6. So when x is 0, your y value has to be 6. Okay, well, this works. Choice 1 works so far. Choice 2 is 0, 4. That makes no sense. Choice 3 says 0, 8. That makes no sense. And we're looking at choice 4, 0, 6. So far, 1 and 4 could be the answer. Now it's saying we have a slope of negative 2. So as the x values increase, your y values are decreasing. So as you can see, we're going up by, it looks like 4 on each interval. Over here, we are decreasing by 4 over each interval. So clearly it is choice 4. But you might be thinking to yourself, wait, Trevor, that says negative 4, not negative 2. Well, you have to understand that the x interval is counting by 2's, not 1's. The slope is always counted by 1's, so it's the rise over the run being your interval for the x value. So this is really showing negative 4 over 2, the rise over the run, which when you just simplify that is just equal to negative 2. So that's why it's going to be choice 4. All right, moving on. Number 5, if f of n is equal to n minus 1 squared plus 3n, which statement is true? So we are given really 3 x values to plug into this. So basically it's saying if you input 3, negative 2, or negative 15, would the outcome be one of these numbers? All right, let's figure it out. So if we take 3 and we plug it into the function, f of 3 is equal to 3 minus 1 quantity squared plus 3 times 3. Okay? This will give us 3 minus 1, which is 2 squared, plus 3 times 3, which is 9. So that will give us 4 plus 9, which is equal to the number 13. So f of 3 is equal to 13. So that's not given. That's showing negative 2. So that's not the answer. Let's try to figure out f of negative 2, which is 2 answer choices that are shown. So f of negative 2 is equal to negative 2 minus 1 quantity squared plus 3 times negative 2. Okay. That will give you negative 3 squared minus 6. That will then equal 9 minus 6, which is equal to the number 3. And hey, look at that. Your answer is going to be choice 2, because f of negative 2 is, in fact, 3. Choices 3 and 4 make no sense. All right, number 6. The table below shows 6 students' overall averages and their averages for their math class. If a linear model is applied to these data, which statement best describes the correlation coefficient? Okay, so you need to type this into your calculator. Okay, so once again, I use the TI Inspire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my lists and spreadsheets on my calculator. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in this data. So I'm going to say overall student average. Okay, and over here I'm going to say math class average. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in all of my numbers into my lists and spreadsheets. Now, once we plug in the data, what we're going to do is we're trying to fit a linear regression model. So we're going to type that in just a moment here and generate those numbers. All right, so I'm just typing all these in for my box that I have here. Let's see, 75. So, okay, so all my data is typed in properly. Now from here, you just press Control Doc, add a calculator page. Go to Menu, go down to Statistics, go to Stat Calculations, and then go to Linear Regression MX plus B. I like MX plus B because Y equals MX plus B. That's the formula that you learn. Your X list is going to be your overall student average, and your math class average is your Y value, or your Y list. And then you click OK. Now, the correlation coefficient is the letter R. Don't look at R squared. That's something different. Let's take a look at the letter R. This is saying 0.925-ish. So 0.925. Well, that is close to the number 1. Choice 2. Choice 1 suggests that it's negative. Choice 3, that makes no sense. And choice 4, that makes no sense either. It is close to positive 1. All right. Number 7, what is the solution to 2h plus 8 is greater than 3h minus 6? Okay. So, I'm just going to rewrite this real quick. And let's go ahead and solve it. Okay. So, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract the 2h on both sides. The reason why I'm doing this is I like positive numbers. So we get 8 is greater than positive h minus 6. Now from here, I'm just going to add the 6 on both sides. And then you get 14 is greater than h. You're probably not familiar with this way of writing it, but this is the same thing as saying h is less than the number 14. You just flip the order and you change the sign from whatever it is to its opposite. So that's going to be h is less than 14, and you only do that if it's in that form, because we normally see the variable before the number. All right, so that's your answer. H is less than 14. All right, number 8. Which expression is equivalent to 36x squared minus 100? So by now you should know your order of factoring. The order of factoring is your greatest common factor, followed by the difference of two perfect squares, followed by the trinomial method, also known as the add and multiply method. So 36x squared minus 100. That does have a GCF. The GCF is the number 4. You pull out the number 4, and you're left with 9x squared minus 25. Okay, great. So now, from here, GCF is done. We took care of that GCF. It's gone. It's out here. Now we take a look at the difference of two perfect squares. Well, can I factor by the difference of two perfect squares? Well, is it? Yes, it is. That can be factored by the difference of two perfect squares. So, when we simplify this, we simplify it to our double bubble. The square root of 9 is 3. 3. Square root of x squared is x and x. That minus sign indicates that we need a plus minus. And the square root of 25 is 5. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your answer. 4 times 3x plus 5, 3x minus 5, which is going to be choice 2. Okay, moving on. Number 9. Patricia is trying to trying to compare the average rainfall of New York to that of Arizona. A comparison between these two states for the months of July through September would be best measured in what? Okay. Feet per hour. No, that is a flood. That is a flood. If you're measuring 2 feet per hour, make sure you get to high grounds. Choice 2, inches per hour. No, that is a rainforest. Inches per hour, definitely. When I think of the rainforest, I think of the Rainforest Cafe. If you haven't been to the Rainforest Cafe, let me tell you something. That is one of my favorite places. That is my favorite place to eat. It's in Disney World. It's in Disneyland. I think there's one in New Jersey. There's no more in New York. There used to be one in New York, but now it's gone. It used to be in the Roosevelt Field Mall, if you know where that is. It's on Long Island. But if you get the chance, just eat there. It's so much fun. And I like it. They have good food. Okay. Inches per month. Yeah, inches per month. Because in New York, it does rain a few inches per month. It could rain between, 2 and maximum maybe of, it can't exceed more than 30 inches. I don't know how much rainfall we get here, but maybe it's average to get maybe like 6, 7, 8 inches of rainfall in New York where I live, which I live on Long Island. But that makes sense. Feet per month, it doesn't rain in feet in New York. It just doesn't. And in Arizona, I don't know, parts of Arizona it's a little tricky. Arizona is a desert. It's mainly a desert. It's really hot, arid climate, meaning it's very dry down there. So that doesn't make any sense. So your answer is going to be choice 3, inches per month. Okay. Number 10, which function defines the sequence -6, -10, -14, -18, ... where f of 6 is equal to -26? So we got to figure out, well, which of the following sequences generates -6 as the first term. So basically what that means is you take 1 and you plug it in to all of these sequences. Because, look, you could plug in 6, but it's just easier to plug in 1. I believe if you plug in 6, I think there's 2 answers and then you need to go back and find which one's the correct sequence to generate. So let's take 1 and let's plug it in to all these answer choices. So let's try choice 1 first. F of 1 is equal to negative 4 times 1 minus 2, which is equal to negative 4 minus 2. That is equal to negative 6. Okay. Let's keep going with this because that's the first term for choice 1. Let's see if it matches for anything else. Let's try for choice 2. F of 1 is equal to 4 times 1 minus 2. That is equal to 4 minus 2, which is equal to the number 2. So choice 2 does not work. Let's now try choice 3. F of 1 is equal to negative 1 plus 32. That answer is going to be 31. That makes no sense. And let's take a look at choice 4. F of 1 is equal to 1 minus 26. That is equal to negative 25. That makes no sense either. So your answer is going to be choice 1, just solely on the facts that you just found the first term, and it does match up to negative 6. So that's great. Perfect. Moving on to question number 11. Which function has the greatest y-intercept? The greatest y-intercept. So you're trying to find out which of the following graphs has the highest point on the y-axis. Okay, f of x is equal to 3x. And I know that this is tricky for some of you. This is really saying f of x equals 3x plus 0. So that means that it passes through the origin, meaning that your y-intercept or your y value is 0. But the coordinate where it crosses the y-axis, it's the point 0, 0, meaning that your y value is 0. Okay, let's take a look at choice 2. Well, if we subtract the 2 on both sides and we divide by 3 to convert it into y equals mx plus b form, that is y is equal to negative 2 over 3x plus the number 4. So that 4 is your y-intercept. Remember, we're trying to figure out y equals mx plus b. B, ladies and gentlemen, is your y-intercept. Okay? So 4 beats out 0. Choice 1 is incorrect. Let's take a look at 3. The line that has a slope of 2 and passes through the point 1, negative 4. Okay, so the best way to figure this one out is to actually graph it. So if I were to just add a page real quick, let me add a graph over here. And if you were to graph a line that has a slope of 2 and passes through the point 1, negative 4. Well, 1, negative 4 is down here. And it has a slope of 2. So up 2 to the right 1, up 2 to the right 1. Keep on going. Okay, so we are getting nowhere over here because the y-intercept is not up here. Let's go down to the left one. Ooh, this is your y-intercept. It's negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, that's negative 6. So this is the point 0, negative 6. So that means that your y-intercept is 0, negative 6. That's your y value, negative 6. So choice 3 is knocked out because choice 2 is still the winner. It's still higher up. Let's take a look at choice 4. All right, so they were nice and they gave us a graph. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, perfect. That's the point 0, 5. Your y value is 5. Your answer is going to be choice 4 because the number 5 is greater than the number 4. So choice 2 is incorrect. All right, last question of the video. What is the product of 2x plus 3 and 4x squared minus 5x plus 6? Okay, so when you're multiplying a binomial to a trinomial, the best way to set this up is by a box method, or the tabular method, some teachers call it. That's actually the proper term, but some teachers call it the box method. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a 2x3 grid, and we're just going to put the values to the left and up top. And this is just a clean way to multiply these out. So we get 2x plus 3, and we get 4x squared minus 5x plus 6. All right, let's go ahead and multiply these out. 2x times 4x squared is 8x to the third. 2x times negative 5x is negative 10x squared. 6 times 2x is 12x. 3 times 4x squared is 12x squared. Negative 5x times 3 is negative 15x, and 6 times 3 is 18. So now from here, we are just going to combine like terms. So we get, let's see here, we get negative 10x squared and 12x squared, and we have 12x and negative 15x. Great. Combining like terms, we get 8x to the third plus 2x squared minus 3x plus 18. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your answer. which it looks like it is going to be choice 3. All right, cool. That is the conclusion of this video. I hope that it helped. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below, and make sure that you visit my website at www.nysmathreadersprep.com for more math content in Algebra 1 and future math subjects in high school, and I will see you soon.